more than any other one, it's not the one that you keep coming back to over and over and over again, the first time there's a problem, you abandon it. You move on to the next idea. You move on to the next one. Maybe not the first time there's a problem, but the first time it gets really tough, then you go away. You go on to the next idea. So probably that's what's been happening thus far. What's been happening, I suspect, entrepreneur to entrepreneur, is that thing keeps coming up, or ideas keep coming up, and you roll with it. You say, okay, I'm going to go with that idea and go with that idea, and then something happens and you go, oh, that's too much. It's not what I thought it was going to be. It's just simply not the one yet. Don't be discouraged. Because every step you take, every idea that you move forward on, you learn a little bit more. And you get a little bit closer to the one, and a little bit closer, and a little bit closer, until ultimately you step into the one, and it's the one, and you push and you move forward. And what tends to happen in those situations, in my experience, and I've started many businesses, what happens in those situations is that everything seems to come together. Everything seems to come in your direction and pushing you forward in that direction, right? Let me caution you with respect to the idea in and of itself. And how do I know that that's the one, that that's the idea, that that's the business that I'm going to be going for? First, it's the one I can't get out of my head. At the end of the day, it's the one, it's the business that I keep coming back to over and over and over to again. Over and over. Happens all the time. It's the one that must be something that you love. It must be something that you don't even think twice about doing for 14, 15 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's the one that you think about when you wake up in the morning. It's the one that you think about when you go to sleep at night. It's the one that you're thinking about all day long. Now, I'm not saying it's the one that consumes your every thought. I'm saying it's the one that you go back to over and over and over throughout the day. So as that idea is up there, that's if it's the one, as you're going through your day, your experiences of the day, you'll say, oh, I can add that to my business, or I can add that to my idea. Or you see the way people are treated, or customers are treated, and you say, I can do that in my business. I'm going to copy that, what they're doing, in my business. But that my business is that idea that keeps brewing over and over again. So it's the one that you love. It's the one that you think about. It's the one that you enjoy, right? Because a Friday night is going to happen. And a Friday night, when you need to be working on your business, and you get the phone call and your buddy wants to go out, and you want to have a great time, it's going to be the one that you love. Because the one that you love, you don't even think twice about saying no. You want to focus on your business. You want to do what you have to do. You want to stay focused on what it is that you have to do. And saying no to a good Friday night out with your buddies, it's not a big deal, because you're doing what you love to do. Focusing on what you love to do. Right? So that's the second part, something that doesn't go away, something that you absolutely love. The third part of it is I want you to consider your current life and your current situation and your current relationships. And are you willing to give up those relationships and that life for your business? I want you to think of your boyfriends and girlfriends and husbands and wives. Because most of you who are in relationships now will not be in those relationships as your businesses get started and as your businesses are successful. Your current relationships will not be the relationships that you will be in as you become successful entrepreneurs. The divorce rate, the breakup rate for entrepreneurs is incredibly high. So think about that. Think about your husband, your wife, your girlfriends, your boyfriends, your partners, whatever it is. Are they going to be there later? It's a tough question, because some of you are married. Some of you have been in long-term relationships. And for me to stand up here and say, the chances that you will be with that person are pretty unlikely if your business is successful. Think about it. You are in a business as an entrepreneur. And you are the business as an entrepreneur. And you're going to be working 14 to 15-hour days, 7 days a week. You're going to be so focused on your business that suddenly hanging out with your significant other isn't that important anymore. he or she is going to start putting pressure on you. What's going on? Why aren't we hanging out? Don't you love me? Right? And so it's an incredible strain on relationship being an entrepreneur is at the end of the day. So is this business something that you are willing to give up your existing life for? Knowing that that is highly likely, there are absolutely things that you can do to ensure that if you love the person that you're with and you want to be with them forever, you can be with them forever. But most people don't realize that walking into it. If you know that you're walking into this situation as entrepreneurs where you're going to be working 15, 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, you're not going to have time to play. You don't want to because you're loving what it is that you're doing. You're focusing on your business. You're really, really enjoying what you're doing. And suddenly those relationships aren't they may be as important, but you're not putting the work into a relationship that needs to occur to make a relationship work, right? If you know that ahead of time, you know that you have to have a balance. You know that 15 hours a day isn't healthy 7 days a week. You know that you need some time away from your business, that you need time with friends, that you need time with family. But if you don't know that going in, that's where you're headed. You're headed for those hours of this tunnel vision, of this focus, right? So plan that. Plan for those times with the people that you love and care about, because your relationship with them will undoubtedly change. It can change in that they come on this journey with you, or it can change in that it no longer exists. So you have to know that you need to nurture that back. The business is the right business if no matter what anyone tells you that it's a wrong idea or a bad idea, you fundamentally believe that it will work. When I started my business, I was 21 years old. My first business, 21 years old. I own a company that provides mental health services to patients in nursing homes. I started working in psychiatric hospitals when I was 16 years old. And I would go to school my senior year during the day, and in the evenings I would go work as a psych tech at a psychiatric hospital. And I worked on an intensive care unit at a hospital, and I graduated from high school and I went to go work full-time at the psychiatric hospital. I still love psychology. Absolutely loved it. I love the way the mind works. I love the way that the crazier the mind, the more far out there the mind, the more fascinating that is to me. For a person to be so far out to not have any sense of reality, to me, that's fascinating. The other thing that I absolutely love is selling and marketing. So at some point along the way, I figured it out. I figured out that I love psychology and I love marketing. And if what I could do was combine those two, I was home free. So I walked into a nursing home, 21 years old, and I said to the administrator of a nursing home, I want to figure out a way to provide mental health services to your patients here in this nursing home. Instead of your patients coming to me or to us, I want to bring psychotherapists to you. Fantastic, they said. Go for it. Here you go. Come try it in 5 of our nursing homes. At that point, all I had was an idea. All I had was a possibility. I had nothing else. I had no therapist. I had no billing person. I had no nothing. All I had was an idea. An idea, and knowing that an idea is nothing unless you take actions. So this is the last thing about the idea, is that dream all you want to, ladies and gentlemen. Think of anything that you want to. Think of any idea that you can't put away, that you can't let go, that is possibly going to change your life. And at the end of the day, unless you take action and move in that direction, nothing is going to happen. You will end up a 50-year-old, a 45-year-old in business, sitting there wishing and hoping and wanting to be an entrepreneur and discussing it with your friends and family forever. And until you get off your asses and take a step in that direction, nothing will happen to you as an entrepreneur. Nothing.